Okay, everybody's got a fucking podcast. I mean, we have a podcast, so obviously anyone can do it.
Wait, this is a podcast?
Are you recording right now?
Technical difficulties.
No, you don't have to say anything. I'm going to edit it out.
Technical difficulties.
Okay. I put mayonnaise on a pickle.
Yo, I know y'all ain't playing skee ball. I'm trying to go to bed.
Do my feet? I mean, my feet stink, right?
Yeah. All right, and we are yes. You like my little arrangement? I got the laptop over there.
With a chair. The fact that it has
Because
a
then it's
chair.
out of the shot.
Yeah, that's fair.
So hey,
How's it going?
how's your penis? Is it good?
Yeah. Have you been hearing rumors that it's not?
I just like to be sure.
Oh, okay. I mean,
That'd be a real bummer if you came over and you're like, and I asked, and you're like, yeah, it's broke, and it's like, oh, can you even do the pod? Like, you gonna be all right?
can you do the pod with a broken penis?
Yeah, like, I don't know, it'd be distracting,
It'd be very uncomfortable, but I would.
Muscle through.
Yeah. I would probably just drink.
It'd be hard, no pun intended.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
I would just drink straight out the bottle.
Yeah.
To just kind of kill the pain.
Sure. All right, that's enough penis talk. Let's get into it. You want to go special features, or do you want to jump into notes? Maybe cap it with special features. How you want to go?
How did we do it last time? Did we go?
We went
features
special
first?
features first last time.
Okay, so let's do the opposite.
Opposite?
Yep.
All right, let's do notes. So, best of the
Original trilogy.
original trilogy.
That's what I said.
And
My
our
first note.
our opinions.
Yep. My favorite.
You can email us, tell us if we're wrong. Consequence Hotline, yahoo.com. Maybe right here. Depending on how much work Jason wants to do. Feel free, Jason, to not.
Or
Also.
like right here.
Right.
So, shit, we gotta blur up my shirt.
Why? And
It's got my job.
oh. Well, no one knows what it stands for.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Unless you tell them. Maybe.
American Negro Federation.
Yeah, that's right. That makes sense. That's where you work. Yeah. I'm
That's
representing.
where I
I did
work.
Star Wars. This might be copyright. Who knows? But people wear shirts all the time, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't put the merchandise out if they didn't want people to represent, right?
I don't know if my job wants me to represent them though.
I was more talking about my thing. I don't really.
Oh, yeah,
We're
no,
we're
your
kind of
job.
past your stupid thing.
Your job is
We're talking about me now. Star Wars. Representing.
your job. Doesn't seem like they really would rep Star Wars like that.
I'm not saying it's my job. I'm saying I don't think Star Wars would put out the merchandise
Ah.
they want people to represent once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird though. Like people put out music, and then it's like if you're watching like playing like streaming on like YouTube, and it's like it plays, then it's like boom, taken out for like copyright issues, and it's like
Yeah.
look,
I'm just representing.
you know what I mean?
This is like an ad for you.
Pretty much. Then somebody might hear that song, and they're like, oh, what's that? Like,
But it does suck because the only way music can really make money anymore is touring. You don't hardly get album sales. I'm sure. I mean, I bet you get Spotify money, but like,
Spotify,
or
Apple
well,
Music.
like the streaming service
Yeah.
money, but like I'm sure it's minuscule to
Compared
what it
to-
used to be. Like, because you could have an awesome album and just be straight, like forever.
Yep.
You used to get mad money.
Big paid.
All right, so Star Wars.
Episode 5.
All right, so I said, my first note, this movie works because everything goes wrong immediately. I
Yes.
feel like a lot of sequels, you kind of introduce to everybody, like, oh yeah, everything's going great since our first conflict,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually, like, obviously there is a conflict at some point.
Right.
Eventually everything goes to shit. But I feel like this is good because it's like, we just jump right back in. And, like, the Empire's still fucking with the rebels.
Yes.
We're hiding, and, like, it's a whole thing still.
Right out of the frying pan into the shit.
Indeed. So, I like everything good. I think cheers with water.
Yep, fuck it.
Ka-tink. Oh yes, the table tap. Vodka, glass full of vodka. In case anyone's
Straight vodka.
thinking I'm lame.
He's a fucking animal.
Fucking animal over here. Vodka and chewing gum. That's me.
Ugh. That's that's
Dude,
terrible.
I just love chewing. I just love minty gum and water. I don't know what it is.
It's very refreshing.
Something about it. You get the mint and then you kind of like you because I feel like gum is very oversaturating at first, and then a little bit of water kind of like relieves it. It's not. Anyway, let's not talk about chewing gum. Let's talk about Star Wars.
It burns my eyes when I do that. Drink water and chew minty gum.
Oh yeah.
It's like overwhelming. My eyes, like I'll drink it and then it's just my eyes just get real warm. I should probably see a doctor.
Hey, you just got sensitive eyes. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
All right. So you read your first note. What's your second note?
The battle on Hoth is like the most legendary battle in all of the original trilogy to me. Because I feel like growing up, like that was what made me like this movie better than the other two. Was like just that first battle on Hoth. Everybody's like, you have the big ass walkers, and then the little fucking speeders flying around them, and then you got the dudes on the ground like shooting at them, and nothing's working. And then it's like, they're like, oh, let's just fucking hook a tow cable to the legs and go around it a few times, and it trips over its own feet. And then all of a sudden they're able to shoot it in the exact same spot they shot it at before, and it blows up.
Yeah. For some reason, when it's on the ground, the shield
No longer works.
no longer works.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a gravity thing, I guess. I don't know.
It's a gravity thing.
Maybe it's snow. I don't know. Yeah. My next note's a quote. When Han and Leia are arguing, when he's gonna leave at first.
That's fucking hilarious, because my third note is the tension between Han and Leia.
Yeah. I just like, afraid I was gonna leave without giving you a goodbye kiss. I'd just as soon kiss a Wookiee. I can arrange that. You could use a good kiss.
He was so heartbroken when she responded like that.
Was he heartbroken, or was he just more like, you fucking bitch?
Yeah, heartbroken, but
Like-
hurt. To me, it's like the same thing in that
Well,
situation.
yeah, it's always funny the way characters have to do it. Like, 'cause that's so
over the top.
school child shit.
Mhm.
You know?
It's an insult that I see a kid coming up with.
Well, the Wookiee thing.
Yeah.
But I just mean that way of not admitting you like someone, or that whole thing. Just everybody ran around like elementary school. Always, you like her, you like her.
Yep.
No, I don't.
Yeah. Have
It's
you
so-
have you read in the face?
It's so
trying to-
funny to watch adults act out that childlike thing.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
And when he's like yelled, you could use a good kiss as he's like walking down the hallway, like some random dudes are like, what the fuck? Like, what are they going on? What they got going on?
This would be a good one to throw in deleted scene. I had deleted scenes in with the special features, but it's a good tie-in right here when they're still on Hoth. So apparently there was a whole other subplot when they were on Hoth that they just decided to delete. It said because they weren't happy with the way the monsters looked. You know, the monster that attacks Luke.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it's written down in the special features. I think it's like Wandu.
Something like
Wampas. Wampa.
that. Remember those in Battlefront 2?
Yeah. They weren't happy with the Wampa special effects. Like, it didn't look good enough.
Yeah.
Is what George Lucas said. So they just went away from that subplot completely. But so that first scene when Leia's chasing Han down the hallway, that first shot where it comes down and it passes the snowy wall, it did in the delete. I watched the deleted scene. You just had audio of Han and Leia talking, and it zoomed in on that wall, and one of the Wampas was on the other side of that wall, and the snow had kind of like thawed, and there was ice, an ice layer, and it was almost a window where you could see
Right.
like a Wampa inside.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then so So that scene kind of ends, and the thing R2D2 sitting there like beep booping, by another wall, and the thing starts losing its shit. And there's no sound for this either. They just have the footage of it, and it's black and white too. Some parts of it are black and white. A lot of the old deleted scene footage is black and white. And audio will cut in and out, and sometimes you just get none. Which is, I mean, obviously it's all raw footage they didn't use, so I get it. Anywho, it breaks through the wall, and then they take care of that one, and then later when the Empire is attacking the base, 3PO, there's labels on the doors because they lured the Wampas into little prisons.
Oh, there's like
small prisons, right?
Like a bunch of them in there?
Yeah, like it was a whole thing going on in the base. There was a whole other Wampa subplot at this Hoth base. There's the Luke thing, there's Wampas, and then the Empire's coming.
Good lord.
Yeah, and then again, obviously the reasons they said, they just took Wampas completely out of that.
I want to watch this
Of the
footage.
storyline. Yeah, we can do it. So then when the Empire is there attacking, there's labels on the doors where the Wampas are trapped in.
Right.
And then 3PO like tears one of the labels off the doors when there's Imperial soldiers behind him, and then the Imperial soldiers hit the button, and a Wampa arm just comes out and drags the Imperial soldier in, the door shuts.
Oh, that's fucking tough.
So, yeah, so that's fun.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, we'll pull it up. As far as you at home, maybe get I don't know, maybe that's on YouTube, I don't know, but I know it's in the special features of the 6-piece set Blu-ray discs, and then there's special features discs, and the discs, it's all very fun.
Alright, well, what's your next? Oh, you want me to go next?
Yeah, you go.
Okay. I wrote a note about Leia kissing Luke. It's that's awkward, because she kisses him like twice in this movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, if Luke found out that Vader was his dad and then reached out with the Force to talk to Leia, of all people, you would kind of I feel like he should know at that point, like.
Yeah, and he doesn't even,
because he doesn't try to reach out to anybody else. He doesn't try to reach
really
out
even
to.
know. He might kind of know here, but he might have a feeling. But I know that they don't talk about it until 6.
Yeah.
And it's near the end.
Yeah, it's like literally once they're on an Endor.
And the
Little Ewok village.
yes, the Ewoks. Yeah,
I fucking love those things.
yes. The Ewoks kind of, it's that they're at their village, and it's the night before the big battle. You know.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that line. Not to get too far into Return of the Jedi right now, but they're talking about when Han says whatever about, like, you know, she's like, it's Luke, and he's like, I understand, when he comes back I'll let you guys be. He's like, no, he's my brother. Like, or no, I'm sorry, I think it's when Luke and Leia are talking, and he tells her yada yada, and then she goes, you know, somehow I always knew. It's like, bitch, why'd you kiss him then?
Yeah, that's a little weird.
You knew, but yet
I mean, I guess I get what she was kind of she was really petty towards Han.
yes.
So kissing him in front of Han was just kind of like a thing to upset him. But like, I don't even like my sister kissed me on the cheek.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like as kids it was different, but like being an adult, it's like, I mean, like saying hi and bye and stuff, like, I get it. Because, like, I still kiss my mom on the cheek, but, like,
Yeah.
that's, like, if it's not, like, here, like, then it's just way too personal. It's like,
Yeah.
and I'm just not, it makes me uncomfortable.
I don't like to kiss anybody but my wife. I'm more of a hugger.
That's fair.
What's a Nerf herder?
Yeah, good question.
And I also said I feel like they should have reflected regretfully, hopping on your note. They should have reflected regretfully on the time they kissed when they talk about how they're siblings.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I
I
get
would have
that.
liked some negative reaction, maybe just a little discouragement of incest, slightly, but
They'd be like, ugh.
yeah. Like, oh, remember? Yeah, let's not talk about
They
that.
just, yeah,
like,
that's exactly
just
what they
something.
did. That's
Just a little
exactly what they
something.
did. They just wrote it off. They just wrote it off.
I just want that little something where they go like, ooh, let's not talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
Just give me something here. No.
Or like Han gets upset and he like brings it up.
Like, hey, remember the time you kissed your brother?
Like when she tells it, when she
that's
tells
an
him.
argument later
Like-
when they're together, and they're like, remember that time you did that? Remember that time you kissed your brother? Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah. Shut up.
Yeah, that would be fucking great. I was gonna say, what are we from Alabama? But that was
What's Alabama? I don't know. Just felt right.
just felt right.
Yeah.
Alabama don't exist in the Star Wars universe.
What you got next?
Let's see. Oh, when the walkers were attacking the base, and you had all the ground troops from the rebel force. I was trying to hurt myself thinking. The rebel force, and they're all like on foot on the ground. And the fucking walkers are just targeting them while they're running, and it's like shooting fish in a barrel, but with like a buckshot. It's incredibly overkill. Like I feel like shooting one of those guys with a laser from that fucking walker is the equivalent of us shooting a single person with an M1 Abrams tank. Which is like, that's the equivalence. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's gotta be, because it's overkill to the fucking max. I was like, yeah, they're all just
No
up there.
arguments here.
No, the dudes, they're just piloting. They're just like, yeah.
Yeah.
The fucking dude's just standing there watching, and all these like people are just running and just like little clouds. And then I was like,
Yeah.
I was watching it, and I was like, that's overkill.
Yeah. No, for sure. No arguments here. That's yeah. It is. Yeah. It's
And
good.
growing up, I never fucking thought about it until literally watching it like earlier today. I was
Yeah.
just like, huh. I was like, that's a little bit much.
It's like just a little bit. I like they're trying to get the ship going, trying to get off of Hoth.
Oh, yeah.
Out of Hoth, whatever. It's the Hoth system I should bring up.
Trying to get off the fucking ice planet, okay?
No, I know. I'm just saying they say it's the Hoth system. I always called it Hoth.
Planet.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
And it's the Hoth system is what they say. I think they say Lord Vader, they're on the fourth planet in the system, the Hoth system, or some shit like that. So, anywho, they're trying to get off the planet as the Empire is invaded, and Leia says to Han, "Would it help if I got out and pushed?" And Han just goes, "It might." And then he's powering everything up, and it goes, "Woo," and he's like, and it's
Yeah.
like, "Woo."
Oh, that reminded me of this Disney movie that I used to watch when we were kids. I don't know if you ever saw it, Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
I think so. I mean,
And
kids
he was
are-
trying to fix the fucking steam engine on like the big ass drill thing, and like it stopped, and he was like turning a bunch of knobs, and he took a wrench and just fucking smacked it, and it just fired up. I was like,
yeah.
yeah, it just made me think of that. I was like, because I could see that. That's like something that would actually happen.
Yeah. I got one more quote. We get into the asteroid field. Of course, 3PO. Sir, the possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is 3,720 to 1. Never tell me the odds.
Typical Han quote.
Yeah.
Did he say that in the Solo movie? Never tell me the odds.
Oh, never tell me the odds? That'd be a good one to go back and vet. Yeah, I don't know. I should have, I don't know, there's no way really to do that. Just write down. I mean, I guess you could. If you could write down everything Han says in any of the fucking movies and then go back and cross-compare it to Han. I think the big thing with Solo was you learn what the Kessel Run is. Because it's always the rumored Kessel Run, and finally you see, oh, this is the Kessel Run. And I was just giving Han an origin story and why he's just the way he is.
And you find out who Lando is.
And yeah, which slight note. I have it later, so won't talk about it when we get to it later. The interaction they have, they show you meeting him. They show you Han meeting Lando. It's kind of a brief thing. Han wins because Lando's a cheater. Or, I mean, excuse me, the other way around. Lando wins because Han's a cheater. Right?
Lando's a cheater.
Damn, I said it wrong.
The first game they played, he cheated.
Yes, the
Han.
first game, yes. And Lando wins because he's a cheater.
Yes.
And the whole interaction doesn't go well, and then they're kind of forced on this mission together.
This whole fucking escapade.
Yeah, and then they get back, and Lando's like, I never want to see you again.
Oh, that shit was funny.
And he goes, and of course he leaves, and of course fucks Han up because he just said like, oh, they're all coming out of that, or they all have rifles aimed over here or some shit like that. And then the ship just takes off.
Yeah.
And then Han goes and gambles the ship back from him.
But when he...
Of course, he takes Lando's, cards that he was using to cheat. And so then Han wins the ship and all that shit. And then that's the end of their interaction, supposedly, until episode 5. And so if you're Lando, are you that great of friends with the dude that like first ruined your ship pretty much because of the thing, and then you never want to see him again, and then he stops you from cheating, and he gambles your ship to himself.
Mm-hmm.
He wins your ship. Do you still want to help that guy when he comes to your plan? I don't know that relationship is as cohesive
as they made it seem.
Yeah. After showing, or maybe they should have built that origin story more. I understand you can only do so much in, a couple hours. But I just feel, yeah.
Did you notice though, like when they were okay? So real quick side detour to the Solo movie, when he was they met and played cards for the second time, he kind of like flinched like he was gonna hit him. And they grabbed him and like hugged him, and you notice how Lando did that to him in episode 5.
Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't know.
I wasn't like, yeah. That checks out. Yes.
I thought about it, like I saw it, and I was like, Han did him like that in the Solo movie.
Yeah.
When they met up the second time and played cards. I was like, oh.
And the whole thing was, of course Han does that to Lando, and that's kind of showing you why Lando does it later, because Lando leaves Han on
just high and dry,
just kind of like, all right, have fun.
Yeah.
And so then the fact that Han wins his ship from him and goes away, and then he comes back asking for repairs and all these years later, and he's
yeah, I mean they were both like smugglers and thieves, so it was kind of like, I think in a way they respected each other.
No honor amongst the thieves.
Yeah. But it was just funny. Seeing it in this one, I just thought about it, and I was like, I saw it earlier, I was like, hey, the Solo movie paid homage to that, or whatever the fuck you call it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was the thing I noticed. My next note's kind of skipped, so I don't know what you got, bud.
It's kind of skip?
Yeah, I skipped like all the way to like when Luke and Yoda meet.
I mean, that's mine, so you can go ahead.
No. Yoda's laugh in this movie almost had me in tears.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so fucking funny. Like, his little...
just his little...
yeah, it's such a little asshole chuckle.
Yeah.
Like, like how kids will, like, test you and they'll just keep doing shit.
Yeah.
You're like, stop fucking doing that. That's exactly what that laugh reminds me of. And it was hilarious to watch.
He is... Yeah, that's a good way to describe him. He's very childlike. I don't know if I'm using the word correctly, but I would say a curmudgeon. Yeah, just very, very going for the irritant, for being the irritant. And the thing is he's kind of testing Luke.
Yes, he is.
And so Luke
patience
does not pass the patience test at all, and of course Kenobi's Kenobi comes in and says, "Hey, oh, you trained him? Was I any different?" All this shit. And again, Kenobi not more powerful. I hate that that's the fucking line. Like, oh, I can say things like a ghost now. I'm so powerful, Vader.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, fucking get that, dude.
I do like how they did tie like a lot of the like little facts and things from the old movies to like they did in the new, like he talked about how he wasn't patient when he was younger. Like Luke can learn patience. Like I remember watching episode 1 where Qui-Gon is telling Obi-Wan, you know, patience.
Obi's reckless all the way through the movies. Like
all
the way through episode 3, he's just reckless. When he just drops in on General Grievous,
oh yeah,
he's just like,
what,
hello,
just by himself, by himself.
What are you doing?
Like that's brave as shit.
There's an army of people. That's not brave. It's stupid.
Yeah, but we'll see.
There's
I call
a big
that being
difference
brave.
between bravery and stupidity.
Oh, usually for me they're tied together.
Okay.
I usually tie them together for most people.
All right.
Like that fucking picture I saw. It was a meme one time. It was a cop car, and they took the fucking wheels off of it and left it on cinder blocks. I was like, y'all are getting brave. It's like it's dumb, but it's like at the same time, it's like that's just makes it funny.
Yes.
I guess. But yeah, Obi-Wan was very like that. Like,
Very reckless dude. Yeah.
even in fucking Obi-Wan, he's kind of taking pretty big gambles.
Yeah. But I don't think I don't know that he has a choice in that series, really. Because he's... Let's not get too deep into Kenobi. Yeah, I had the same thing about Dagobah. Yoda going through all Luke's stuff.
He's just
Bit of a
tossing
curmudgeon.
shit.
Yeah.
He's just fucking tossing shit out of his little box. I was like, oh no.
My other thing is, so Vader refers to Luke as Skywalker.
How does he know his last name?
Well, I mean, obviously, because, you know, he's referred to as Skywalker from these people, right? But then why is it the Emperor that has to, is there a lot of Skywalkers running around?
That's a good point.
Then the Emperor has to tell him, like, oh, yeah, that's your son.
Maybe there's more than we know. There was more Palpatines. Rey from the new series she was
So
Palpatine.
I think that's one more Palpatine for a grand total of
Yeah, but she had parents.
2.
Which means
Was the Emperor not her?
he was her grandfather.
Okay.
So either her mom or dad. Maybe there's like a couple more.
See, my problem with the third trilogy is that I don't know, for whatever reason it did not hold my attention as much. I liked 7 because Star Wars came back.
No.
And you're like, yes.
Was that because of Mark Hamill?
Well, yeah, all 2 seconds he's in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
At the end, you see his old face, and then it's just... I don't know if that's the song they use for those credits, but typically what they use for credits, so that's what my brain's trained to start playing when Star Wars goes to credits. Anyway. My thing is, 7 was really cool because oh man, it's back, you know?
Oh wait, that was Force Awakens, my bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then 8's cool. And then 9 was so long, I don't know. I don't know what killed that one for me. I don't know, I guess just the new thing. For whatever reason, I had trouble following it. 8 was really sweet, I thought. A lot of cool Jedi stuff.
Lots of cool Jedi stuff.
I just gotta re-immerse myself in that third trilogy to really get moving in it again before we cover it. I'll often take a Saturday,
Just watch all.
watch all 3, really get behind the story.
I'm just saying, apparently anybody can swing a lightsaber these days.
No kidding.
Man.
That was a negative point for me in that. What you got next note?
Okay, I skipped and I had to go way back. Like I was I went
Okay.
forward, and then I got down to. Oh wait, never mind. That was right. Okay. Anyways, so when they were trying to escape the Empire, and they fled into the asteroid field.
Yes.
Okay, they were inside of that big ass space worm thing, which the Family Guy version of that's hilarious.
Yes.
I was all of a sudden, I was like, Leia's a mechanic all of a sudden. Like, she just knows how to, like, weld and,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, they do. I mean, granted, we had no way of knowing it at the time, but they do show that she's developed these skills in Kenobi. In this most recent episode, she's in there trying to fix the big gate to let the ships out. So, granted, they don't really tell you.
Yeah, in the
They-
old series,
yeah,
just
if
watching
you were just
4, 5,
watching
and 6.
4, 5, 6, you
You're
would
just
have
like-
no way of knowing. Oh, so she just knows stuff. I mean, I guess maybe being part of the Resistance, you figure that she's picked some things up.
I figured that she would have been
along
able
the
to,
way.
like, break out of her cell, though. You know, like, pull the panel off the wall, have, like, a little secret fucking
Possibly, yeah.
tool. Like a
But-
lockpick thing or something.
I would figure that they make the prison cell to be able to not be able to break out of. So,
I mean, some places use, like, still use those old bars, like the iron bars or some shit. And you can use, like, tooth floss.
I mean, you tell me there's no bobby pins and those fucking buns in her hair in that movie. You're right.
Oh,
That's fair.
There's gotta be a lot of them in there. I mean, imagine
Yeah.
how much shit you could hide in that much hair. Like, if she pulled a lightsaber out there, it wouldn't surprise me. But it's just funny, because she's, like, soldering and, like, welding and, like, doing shit. And I was like, wait, this is, like... Obviously, now, watching the Kenobi series, yes, you kind of get that.
Right.
But, growing up, ain't no fucking way you would know that.
Right.
Like, you're just, like, all of a sudden, she's just, like, over here with fucking welding goggles on and just doing her thing. And I was like,
Hoping that didn't pause.
ma'am,
I think it paused, so I forgot to plug it in.
no.
I think it was sitting there saying low battery. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. What's this one say? Oh, it's at the same time, so I think it was still recording despite the low battery sign.
Cool.
Anywho.
So, anyways, yes, she's a mechanic, which is that's fine.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to
I'll allow
say, I'll allow it.
Yeah.
I just want to say, when they are in that space worm and they think they're in like a cave, I didn't really notice it in this film until I noticed it more in the 6th. Carrie Fisher was fucking fine as fuck back in the day.
Yeah.
She was a babe. I was like, I saw her in this one with her little braids and stuff, and I was like, oh, her face isn't actually bad. I just never really paid attention to it until the 6th one, obviously, and she was in that.
Yeah, in the 6th you go. Oh.
That fucking bikini thing.
Yeah.
I was like, phew.
Yeah. Just obviously the robot chicken thing. Vader always kills people. Like as soon as his crew fucks up,
Somebody gets choked.
He always just chokes them out. And of course, that reminds you of the robot chicken thing where he's
This
like,
fucking
he's
ad.
like, Vader thinks that he has the power to choke us with the Force. And, you know, so if you get choked, just act like he's doing it, you know, give him the satisfaction, lay on the floor dead, and then we'll pick you up, bring you in here, we'll give you a mustache or something like that, and, you know, put you back in the rotation.
New name
He's like-
tag.
He's like, hell, Ted over there has been killed 13 times. He's got, like, glasses, mustache,
Yeah.
big beard on, like, all this shit.
Just the most ridiculous looking stuff. I fucking love
Yeah.
those. Those make the original Star Wars movies so much better. Because you can't think about... You can watch one and think about the other either way.
Yeah.
It just always... Never gets old.
Yeah.
Dude's name is James Earl Jones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Voices Vader, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the most iconic villain voice for a movie.
What's funny is the fact that he's the dad in Coming to America.
Mhm.
It's just, I know you know that. Just funny that he voices Vader,
Mhm.
and he's also the guy that.
And he's like two different people,
Yeah,
but
like
he's the same person.
In the second Coming to America, and he's talking about like you, or no, maybe it's the first. Fuck, I'm getting them confused now, but just whichever one it is, and he's like, Do you have sex with your bathers? I do. Like that guy voices this villain. It's a funny connection to me.
No, I get it. I do love, his voice. Did they have him voice Vader when Anakin became Vader in Episode 3? They did.
I read the credits, yeah, and he's voicing Vader now.
Well, I mean, that one I did know. I just didn't remember if they did it or not for 3 because he only had like.
It's
2
cool
lines.
that they can,
Do that.
yeah, still like that he's still around for that.
It's amazing that he's still around for that
Yeah.
because like you really don't realize how old some of these people are getting until, like, I mean, for us, like in the 2000s, we were like, oh, 1983 was like, 25 years ago. But now when you think about it, like, my brother was born in 84. In 2 years, he'll be 40.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy. It's like, that's 4 decades. And then Star Wars came out in 77, the first one.
I think your math is wrong on 83. That's like, I think it's like 39.
What I'm saying is, like,
yeah, I know.
I was just giving
bothered
riff
me.
for
No, I
reference.
know.
I was saying my brother's the year my
When
brother
you
was
say
born.
83 though, and you said like,
Oh, like I'm saying,
25 years, I
I'm
was
saying
like,
like early,
wait.
early 2000s,
okay, all right.
like elementary school.
Oh, when we first saw Star Wars.
Yes,
okay,
when we
I
were in
see.
elementary school watching
I got
Star
you.
Wars.
All right, that makes more sense. I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
sorry.
that's almost 40 years.
I just expected you to be on the same wavelength, and it
No,
didn't
it's
happen.
good. All right.
Because my brother would be 40 in 2 years, and he was born in '84.
Yeah.
So it's wild because I'm like, well, he's almost 40, and it's like these movies, like they were adults when these movies came out. So it's like, how old are they now? And you look at like, I mean, Carrie Fisher, she was what, like 66, 60, almost 67 when she passed away?
Sounds right. Yeah. I think we looked this up on the Solo Pod, but
Probably.
now the computer's out of the shot. And I don't want to. We're just gonna leave it
We'll
alone.
just use the Force.
You're right. That would be fitting for this pod.
How fitting. We just reveal our darkest secret.
It's kind of a two-part note. Quotes that could also be in a porn. I can't. It's too big.
I fucking wrote the same thing. I wrote, Luke, I can't, it's too big. I wrote, that's what she said.
Nice. Obviously, when Luke's trying to pull the ship out of the swamp and tells Yoda he can't do it, gives up.
Pussy.
And so then the second part of the note is me picking on Kenobi series.
Uh-huh.
Because, like I said, I didn't like the fact that Kenobi just, like, forgot all his powers and why can't he just practice in the cave that he's staying in or whatever? Because here's the deal. If they can track the Force, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if, they can detect, like, oh, somebody's using the Force somewhere. And Yoda and Luke are training on Dagobah. Why do they have to set this trap for Luke? Why doesn't the Empire come to Dagobah? There's, like, no inhabitants, except apparently fucking Yoda.
There's Yoda
And all the beasts.
bunch of animals.
Yeah, all the creatures that live in this fucking swamp. Why? I don't know, that's just my thing. Like, why does Obi-Wan... Like, there's just that inconsistency, and I always have to point out the inconsistencies in the story. Obviously, you gotta move the story along. You just need some things to work, but... It's just saying... What the fuck, Obi?
Yeah.
And... oh, no. No. Okay. No, that's the next note. So go ahead. Sorry. That's like 2 notes away.
Oh.
Thing I was thinking of.
I said, poor R2
Yeah.
getting left out in the rain. That's kind of fucked up. Low key. That was fucked up. And then also how Luke just, like, nonchalant, like, goes through the house and he just, like, flicks the snake off of the, like...
Yeah, he just...
And I'm just like, buddy,
Yeah.
that's not at all how I would react to a fucking snake in my kitchen. Like,
Yeah.
At all. Like,
Not at all. No.
I'm gonna go get a shotgun, and I hope it stays put.
You want to do some drywall work after? Is that what
Buddy,
you said?
yes, we are making sure that snake is history.
I need a new kitchen table because there was a snake in the kitchen.
Yeah. There was a snake on the kitchen table, so I went in the garage, built a pipe bomb, and tossed it on the table. Oh, man.
Boba Fett's pretty slick. How did he find Han? You know,
How did
they
he
stick to the
know?
back of the ship.
Yeah, how did he
They
know?
released the yeah, how the fuck does he? I'd like to see that sequence of Boba.
Just thinking of it. Like,
Well, even thinking of it, or did he? You know, was he like walking out to his ship and then he sees the Falcon kind of hooked to the back? And then if he was following him, why not deal with the problem right there and say,
That's
hey,
what I wrote down.
he's
I was
stuck to
like-
the back of the destroyer. He's waiting for the trash to come out. Like, do something.
but that's the thing. Like, Boba
Yeah,
came out
yeah.
in the trash.
Did
Too. He came out in the trash too.
Is that what happened?
He came out in the trash.
So he just found it. So then why,
I was just confused on
Not
how the fuck
contact
they
them.
didn't. Yeah, like,
as soon as he see, hey, they're right here. I'm like, oh, okay, don't take off yet. I don't know.
I mean, they did kind of just drop the trash and then close the doors and then poof.
Right.
But like Han waited until they went into like light speed to actually power up and fly off.
Yeah.
But it was just wild because like
But Boba sees it. Like Boba,
if you look hard
almost
enough,
immediately.
like he's literally flying. It's like almost like driving behind someone and you're like 20 feet behind them. Like that's how fucking close it seemed like he was. I was like,
Yeah.
do y'all not see him on like your radar or anything?
Yeah.
Like, because I was like, in my mind, I'd be like, there's something on the radar behind us.
Yeah.
Because he was flying like mad close. Like he literally powered up like as soon as they drove past him. Like it was ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess maybe the Empire's grand plan of finding out where they're going. I don't know.
It's
There's a
of
lot.
questions.
There's a couple holes there. How do they know they're going to the Cloud City? How'd they get to the Cloud City before them? Were they able to hack into their shit and see where they were going
Right.
before they go? Or like, how do they know these things? They arrived just before you. They made a deal with you. I'm sorry. Like,
I mean,
how?
I know the only thing that I can think of is I know Vader was like, based on their last trajectory, search every like planet or system or whatever in that path of trajectory. So like, if they can't jump into light speed, it would take them longer to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Where the Star Destroyers can do it obviously faster because they can go into light speed.
Yeah.
But like that's the only way that I can think of it. Like they just got lucky and they just went to that planet and they were just like, we're gonna post up here.
Yeah. Or I guess, you know, if Boba's on their tail right away, he probably does contact them and say they're heading this way.
Because they can still get messages in like slip space. Okay, wait, hold on, different universe. Light speed.
I don't know, there's a lot there. I guess it works out somehow, but
The way that I understand
I'd
it,
like to know exactly how. you know?
I think that you're right on the right path. I think Boba probably like
But
follows them.
But how does Boba know where they're going? Direct,
it could just
There's
be
a whole thing. I think they're going to here. And then like, oh wait, we passed that.
yeah. And they're like, wait, turn around,
Yeah. Don't go.
bust a U-turn.
Yeah, Busty Huey. In light speed? I
Yeah,
don't
they
think
just
so.
drop out of light speed, turn around, and then back into light speed again. It's like, buddy.
Alright. Yeah, Boba Slick. What's your next note?
Oh, I was saying Boba's armor looks mad shiny. His armor looks shinier in this movie than it did in the actual Boba Fett, like the Book of Boba Fett.
It's like red by
Yeah,
the time you get to Mandalorian.
it's a little
Because that
bit.
one dude has his armor, if I'm remembering right.
It's a little bit worn.
Yeah.
It's more worn at that point. But it could have been from being inside of the Sarlacc,
Sure.
because like technically it'd be like the stomach, right?
Yeah.
Like digestive juices, and that should probably strip fucking chrome off trailer hitch.
Sure.
But I don't know. I mean, that might be it.
Yeah.
I don't know. The fucking ship was nice. Like, I always, for me, like, the Star Destroyers, like, hangar bays are always the most iconic, like, hangar bay of any kind of space-capable ship in
Yeah.
any movie or game that I play. Like, I always think of Star Wars, and I think of how clean the fucking ship is, like, everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, not a single speck of fucking dust.
That literally,
anywhere.
when we were talking about what the fuck do you do on the Death Star, you must all just be janitors
Everybody.
until Vader's like, "Hey, put on the defense system, blah, track these people, blah 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 blah."
They probably have like the bridge where it's like they control a lot of the shit from the bridge, and then it's
Yeah.
like you got the guys that work in like
everybody else is
and
janitors.
everybody else is janitors, and then you
Yeah.
got the people that work in like the hangar bays, and it's like 3 or 4 hangar bays, and it's like maybe 4 people per hangar bay, so that it's
And
like
they're
a total of like 50 actual staff, and then
scrubbing all the
and
time.
then it's like 600 fucking janitors.
yeah, scrub.
Everybody. Like Windex everywhere. Like the floors don't have any dust. There's no footprints, anything. It's just so clean. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's quite insane. I would love it there.
I feel like there's a lot to unpack when Luke leaves Dagobah.
Mm.
I don't know unpack, but just me questioning again. Yoda knows that he has to train him, but of course he acts like he's not going to, and tells him he's not ready. I'm imagining it was just a tactic, try to make Luke kind of appreciate the situation. Is that what you'd say there?
That's what I would agree with, yeah.
Okay. Do they really think that when he sees that his friends are in trouble that he's going to stay? And if the whole thing with Jedis are supposed to defend life, then why would they want him to stay?
Right.
Why wouldn't they want? Obviously, they know it's a trap, but some bad things are still happening. So obviously, he wants to go help his friends.
I think sometimes though with Jedis, they do have to accept like loss as like a natural part of life.
Yeah.
So like, I guess the way that at least the way that like Obi-Wan kind of made it seem like in the older one, the newer series, was like, we can't save everybody,
Yes.
you know? So like, maybe Yoda's like kind of the same way,
Right.
but he's also trained Jedi for 800 centuries. No, 800 years, 8 centuries.
But also, and again, going back to the Obi-Wan, definitely not more powerful than Vader could ever imagine. I just hate that statement.
Yeah.
Ridiculous that Obi-Wan and Yoda say, like, oh, we can't interfere if you're going to go take on Vader. It's like,
What the fuck y'all gonna do?
just,
Talk him to death?
well, right, I mean, Yoda could maybe go help, you know, but
He'd probably just make him mad, insult him, and then laugh.
just the whole thing of, like, well, why can't you come help? And if they can track the force, then they're probably, you know, going to come here eventually anyway. I don't know. There's a lot of good. The new stuff
there's
is
holes.
definitely throwing some
Some
goofs
holes.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, because now I'm like, wait,
And the
what
way
happened to
that-
the Inquisitors?
Which
I didn't
I
finish
have to
watching,
imagine
so-
the Inquisitors have to die at some point.
I feel like they all have to.
Because you've never heard of Inquisitors before, so there's no way they're
Nope.
still, unless they like go rogue, and then they just are in hiding, and maybe they're back
I mean-
in like another Mandalorian series or something.
That would kind of make sense. But I mean, even then, it's like even like when we played like the Force Unleashed and stuff, you had to try and fit Starkiller into that whole thing,
Yeah.
and it was like after Order 66, but like when the
Yeah.
Death Star was like being built, so it was like in the time span of like Jedi still kind of being hunted,
Yeah.
but before Luke was an adult and came into the picture.
Yes.
So it's just like it's really confusing, because then I'm like, the Inquisitors technically could find Yoda.
Yes. Well, unless he's
Unless
sitting
he's
there
not.
dormant like Obi-Wan.
He does seem kind of senile.
Yeah.
Like he does seem like a little wild. He's starting to accept the
Force,
life.
watch his force. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if he took Yoda with him though to fight Darth Vader, I can imagine Yoda's just gonna talk shit the whole time and then do his little laugh. It's just his little shitty laugh.
Yeah, can he do? I don't know that he can be jumping around
No.
much like he did in that fight against Dooku,
No, definitely not.
Count Dookie.
Count Dooku.
And the other thing is, why? Fuck, it was on. I had it and I fucking lost it. Fuck, it was about Kenobi. Oh, if Vader can just rip that ship apart. Or you didn't watch this. You said you didn't watch this week's? Alright,
I've
I
only
won't
watched
bring
like
it.
half of it. I woke up.
He rips a ship apart at one point. That's all you need to know. A ship's taken off, he pulls it down, and he just rips this thing apart because he thinks Obi-Wan's inside.
with the Force.
With the Force.
Oh, he's a fucking
Like he just
monster.
like the most violent Force stuff you've ever seen. It's awesome.
Oh, I can't wait.
And you just go, okay. So think of all the times that people just fly away from him in
And he
these
just
older
watches.
movies. Like in A New Hope, where the blast doors close,
Mm.
and he's just like, darn. And it's like, he could have just ripped those open and fucking grabbed the Falcon. Probably could have crushed it.
Like a
Like-
fucking pop can.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, you know why, because that's not the
Yeah.
story and it has to move on.
I get it. It does kind of suck though, because it's like it'd be cool to see more stuff like that.
Like in theory, evil just prevails in these movies.
Yeah.
Vader just fucks everyone up, and can't if he has that kind of force power, why doesn't he just rip Luke in half instead of lightsaber fight him?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, granted, he wants to take him to the Emperor and all that. Why doesn't he just rip Obi-Wan in half when he sees him in A New Hope?
Oh, buddy.
You
Like,
know?
Yeah, no. Like, if I had that kind of fucking power that Anakin had as far as the Force, like, yeah. Like, shit's getting all sorts of fucked up.
Yeah. Episode 5's the best Obi-Wan so far. The Obi-Wan series.
Oh, the Obi-Wan
episode
series.
5. I know we're talking
yeah.
about
I was
episode
like-
5,
I was like-
so that's kind of confusing.
I
But
was like, you mean Ghost Obi-Wan? No.
but episode 5's that best of that series so far.
Yeah, I mean, I woke
We'll
up
see
at
how
like
we'll see how the next one goes. But
2 o'clock in the morning,
yeah.
and I was like,
Well,
I should probably watch something and eat some food, because I didn't eat anything. I went to the bar with Dakota yesterday after I got off work. Didn't eat anything. Drank. Went home. Ended up falling asleep at like 7:30ish, and then I woke up and I was like, I'm just gonna fall asleep for a little bit, and I'm gonna wake up, order some tacos. Didn't happen.
nice.
I slept until 2. But I couldn't hear the fucking TV, so I was just like, I'm not watching this. I'm gonna turn it off. Tiff's trying to sleep.
Yeah.
But
Next on your list.
Lucas Cabbage at lightsaber battles.
I thought he held up pretty well until there's that part where Vader's just
Starts throwing shit
throwing
at him.
stuff
Yeah.
at him, and then the shit hits him, and then he's like, "Whoom!"
Terrible
And then
swing.
something like hits him, and he's like, "Whoom!"
He's like your dog with like the toy, you know, you like
Yeah.
toss the toy to Bella and it like
Bella
hits
still
her,
hits her in the
and
face,
then
and
she
then she's
gets
like,
then she goes for it. Yeah, that's exactly what that's exactly what Luke reminded me of this.
Yeah.
Luke had better lightsaber fights in The Last Jedi against Kylo Ren
Yeah.
than he did in this movie.
And 6 is okay.
6 was
Fighting
okay.
with Vader.
Oh, it was okay. But I think we both agree that there will never be fights as good as Obi-Wan and Anakin's in Episode 3.
Yeah.
Because that was like probably
That's the height of Jedi lightsaber.
that is like the best lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that because I thought the new ones would have some really good shit.
8 was really cool. That last scene with Kylo and
right.
Rey. I will say that.
But it's just insane because Kylo Ren is like, he's Leia's son, so he's got Skywalker blood, and he just like Rey picks up a lightsaber like one day, and then she's just like matching him in a fight. I was like, buddy, like, I was like, you mean to tell me you spent all these years?
Yeah. I know. Luke Skywalker trained you.
You could tell because his lightsaber skills were cabbage.
Yeah, although it is notable that, now granted, we're dipping into number 6 again, but Luke's lightsaber is green in 6.
Yes, and it was blue in episode 5.
So
And
I mean, granted, he is just using his
Dad's
old lightsaber, but so then the green, I believe we said was
he's more
more in
sensitive
tune
to
with
the
the Force.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or more in tune with the Force.
and he uses that CGI'd Luke that comes in and fucks everybody up at the end of the Mandalorian season and has a green lightsaber.
Mm-hmm. The accuracy, though, is pretty solid. I will say that. I do appreciate the accuracy. Because if he came in and it was just like a yellow lightsaber or something, I'd be like, wait a fucking minute.
Hold on.
I'd be like, wait a minute. That says something way different about him.
Yeah. What else we got here? Boba Fett's name is never said in this movie.
Nope. I think that they just kind of insinuate. Like, you just kind of know who this is.
Now, granted, I did not go through and keep track. That is something that was written in the special features on the screen, and I went, really? And it didn't sound right to me. But if someone goes through and says, like, oh, it's right here, I'd be happy to know. ContentCrisis@yahoo.com. Do it or don't do it. I don't care. It's fine. One podcast we started out and we just kept doing a lot of this shit. And Jason's like, this is going to be so much work in post. I'm like, don't do it. He's like, I might. And then we figured out the video wasn't recording yet, so it was... or no, the audio wasn't on, so then it was like, we can't even... Like,
Just put subtitles.
Put subtitles and everybody's doing this shit, right?
Well, the subtitles are like in
It's like,
Japanese.
and we'll put this here, and then we go like this, yeah, his name's never said. And then, or what do you got next? What's that? Or what's your next one?
Okay, so the thing was, I said Vader was giving it to Luke in their duel. Luke kind of sucks at lightsaber battles.
Right.
The city in the clouds. Did that ever, like, spark a curiosity or, like, questions with you as a kid? Or, like, as an adult, like, thinking about it, you're like, how does a whole-ass city just float above the clouds?
Well, it is funny because when they show it when they're coming in, it's like this little ass support in the middle, and then this big thing. It's this little thing that looks like about as skinny as a fucking telephone pole.
So like a
and
space.
there's like a whole city sitting on it. When
That's
they're zoomed
insane.
out like that,
Yeah.
like when they're coming in. So that is funny. So it's supported, but like not much.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah.
like, okay, that place either has to have like minimal wind or no wind, because even skyscrapers like shift, like sway back and forth
Sure.
with like the taller they are.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of like, is it, because I didn't pay attention to that, but I was just like, is that motherfucker floating? Like, I was like, how?
Yeah.
What kind of power source does it have to keep it constantly floating all the time? What kind of engineering behind it to keep it like that? But
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't really pay too much attention to it, I guess. Don't you think that Leia kind of realized that she was Force sensitive after Luke reached out to her
Yeah.
and like told him? Like, do you think she was just like, holy shit, I'm a Jedi? Like, do you think that shit? Like, do you think that's what went through my mind? That's it.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because then in the third trilogy, she's never done anything with it. She kind of knows, and I think she does that little thing where she puts like a Force shield around her when she's out in space,
Yes.
so she can survive.
She had a lightsaber too.
It's just interesting that she never really did anything with that.
Yeah, they did
You know.
say. I remember there was like a
Maybe
flashback.
she did some fighting shit later.
Luke-
or,
yeah.
I mean, like in between the trilogies, possibly.
Yeah, there was a flashback.
I would like an in between.
Luke
If,
truly,
if they're looking to do another series, I'd like some in between shit.
Yeah.
Maybe Kylo is
more
a kid,
longer
stuff
than
like that.
longer than the flashbacks that you get, because the flashbacks
Which is little or
where,
none,
where
really.
it was like 5 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Luke literally training her with a lightsaber,
Yeah,
and
little to none.
Like, yeah.
Is all, yeah.
But I guess her lightsaber was yellow, which was cool, because
Yellow means what?
she's more like a gray Jedi type deal.
Yeah.
Gray Jedi are like not
Yeah,
like
yeah. Or yeah, you should explain
one way
those. Yeah.
or the other. They're kind of just like the Force. The Force.
Force the Force. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is.
They're just like, hey, you took the good with the bad, put one foot in front of the other, you know, what do you do?
Yeah, yin and yang, baby.
Yeah.
That's kind of how they see it. More neutral, I guess. At least I think hers was yellow. Pretty sure it was.
Yeah. Every time they walk in there, invaders. Fucking dog. Every time they walk in there, every time I watch that scene where they walk in, invaders,
Get his
you know,
helmet put on.
in the dinner, in the little dining hall deal,
Oh, okay.
and then Han shoots at him and he takes the gun away. There's that great Robot Chicken scene where they're all like sitting down eating dinner and they're like flicking each other off and shit like that. Like they all.
I haven't seen that in so fucking long. I always think of the Family Guy one.
And then there's the other part of that scene on the City in the Clouds is when he keeps telling him. I think he tells him he's all to the deal twice. And they show it, but the Robot Chicken skit is he keeps like coming back out of the elevator because he's like going down the elevator. Perhaps you think it's unfair. He's like, I've altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. And he like the elevator door shuts, and then he's like, this deal's getting worse all the time. And the elevator door opens back up. He's like, I will now require you to ride this unicycle around. What? What the fuck am I going to do that for? Like, I have altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. He's like, this deal's getting worse all the time. He comes back out of the elevator. He's like, I'll require you to wear these clown shoes and wear this pink tutu at all times. And he's like, fuck you! I'm not wearing. He throws the shoe at Vader's head and just like bounces. Or no, he bounces off like a clone trooper's head. It was like, squeak! The dude's like, what? He's I'm not wearing this shit. I'm all to the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. And then he's like, this deal is very fair. And I'm happy to be a part of it. And he like picks up all the shit, looks around, and walks away.
Did you watch the Family Guy one?
At one point, but
Well,
it's been a long, not nearly as much as I watched the Robot Chicken ones.
Yeah, that's fair. The Robot Chicken one I haven't seen in a long time, so I saw the Family Guy one more recently than I saw that one. But like, they open the door and then like he shoots out and he blocks the fucking lasers with his hand. It's Stewie, so he's just like, and then he's like Wonder Woman. I was like, yeah, he thought he was like,
Yeah.
I was like, buddy. And he's like, oh, thank God that hot chick's gone. Now I can release my Darth farts. That shit's funny.
Yeah.
That shit's funny.
What we got next?
Okay, I don't know if I'm the only person that noticed this, and I hope I'm not. When Luke gets his new hand, the tear your shit off 3000 if you try to beat off with it.
Sure.
Lando and Chewie go searching for Han, right? Does it look like Lando's wearing Han's outfit? Like his shirt and vest? Am I tripping?
You know, I'd have to go back. Because I didn't think anything of it in the moment, but it's possible.
After this is over, we gotta pull it up and look at it. Because I saw that and I was like, is this motherfucker wearing his outfit? Did he just steal Han's clothes?
He might have. It's very possible. He's sitting aboard the Falcon, so
He's gonna steal he stole your clothes, he's gonna steal your ship, he's gonna steal your bitch. Like, it's just the whole no, I'm just kidding.
Yep. I love you. I know. Why was that how Han decided to handle that situation?
I don't
Was that just his capping off of like, yeah, I've been telling you this whole time that you love me.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a arrogance thing.
When you're about to be carbon frozen, you don't know if you're going to survive. Maybe that's not the time for I told you so.
Yeah, that's probably the worst actual time to do that.
Probably. What's up with Lando's assistant? is he controlled by Lando? And when Lando contacts him and says, like, whatever he said, it's when they're being escorted. And, you know, he contacts him and, like, dude was just kind of like this, and then, like, Lando's voice comes up and he's like, he opens his eyes.
He's a cyborg.
Yeah, is he a cyborg? Is that what's going on?
He's got to be.
Because he wears that little band, like, around his head.
Got to be a cyborg.
It's very possible. I'm open to the theory. There is a deleted scene where he gets reprimanded by the stormtroopers, and so that dude's probably good as dead. But that's a deleted scene.
Oh.
So.
The cyborg dude?
Yeah. Stormtrooper bad aim is on full display as they're escaping the cloud city.
Oh yeah, Chewie was so goddamn. I mean, he's a big dude. Chewbacca's big.
Yeah.
And for you to miss while standing still at like 15 feet it's rather impressive.
Yeah.
If I'm just being honest.
In the worst possible way.
Yeah.
This Robot Chicken scene where he's like, they're on the ledge, and it's the whole Vader Luke thing, cuts off his hand, all that. And I don't remember.
Is it the dude that's like, gotta get that transfer?
Well, there is the gotta get that transfer, yes. I think so, yeah. But also, I don't know if it's Robot Chicken or something else, but Luke jumps, and Vader just like catches him with the Force, and he's like, "Oh, where are you going?" And Luke's like, "Hey, come on!" He's like, "No, you think I'm just gonna let you jump down?" He's like, "Oh, come on, you suck."
No, that's absolutely Robot Chicken.
Okay, I didn't know if that one was Family Guy or not, but
yeah. It's
and there's also another scene where he's like, they do a different version of it where he's standing there, and you know they say the whole like "I am your father" thing, and he goes, "That's impossible." And he says some other thing that's just like, I think 100% unrelated.
Mm-hmm.
Also, and he's like, I don't remember what the quote is, but then Luke's just like, "That's improbable."
Yeah.
And then it gets to, you know, them just like standing there, like smoking cigarettes, and then Vader's like, and you know, the Force is just, you know, little things in your blood that, you know, control stuff. And then Luke's like, just like flicks the cigarette off the ledge. He's like, "If you're not gonna take this seriously," he just like walks away. All right, so this is one of the biggest misquotes ever. Like I'm like firsthand for this because my brother's name is Luke, and so when Luke was little, it was always, "Luke, I am your father." No, motherfucker doesn't ever say, "Luke, I am your father." It's not what happens in the scene. Everybody says it because they think it sounds cool. Right? Also, subtitles say, "No, I am your father." But if you listen, so Vader says, you know, "Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father." And Luke says, "He told me enough. He told me you killed him."
Yeah, that was
and then
dramatic.
Mark Hamill definitely does some like way overacting in this scene, just like the 3PO thing. 3PO!
Oh,
where can he be? Back
that
in the other
was-
movie. And then a lot of overacting here. Where you're like, yeah! He's got this like face up. But, you know, he sells the part. He does it good. He does it well. The whole deal. Yeah. You told me enough. You killed him. And then I listened to it 3-4 times. I kept rewinding it and listening to it. Because the subtitles very clearly say, "No, I am your father."
Right.
But I swear to God, James Earl Jones says, "Me, I am your father." And that's another one we can listen to after this. But
Ooh, I got my niece.
I swear to God, I read the subtitle 4 times. I'm like, I'm reading it right. And I keep listening to it, and I swear to God, it's "Me, I am your father." But, just moving on. Unless maybe James Earl Jones just can't say no. Maybe he's not capable of that, but I don't know. I don't think that's true. And Luke didn't really think through jumping down, but it seemed to work out for him.
I think that he did, though. I really want to say he absolutely... Because it seems like he's got a lot more control with the Force nowadays and being able to, like, reach out.
But in 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He was when he was training with Yoda, he was literally doing a handstand with Yoda on top of his feet.
True.
And then lifted one arm off the ground and then lifted rocks and started stacking them.
I suppose. Maybe he knew
So
what he was
maybe
doing.
he was kind of like able to reach out and feel the surrounding area. I really feel like the Robot Chicken thing was like where he got his hand cut off and the dude's like down there sweeping and a fucking hand just lands on the ground.
It's
Is
possible.
that not how that scene goes? Because that's what I'm thinking of.
Because there's the 3 variations of it. There's the
And it's just-
first thing, we gotta get that transfer, then to the Death Star, and then, gotta get the transfer, I think maybe he says to the new Death Star.
I couldn't tell you.
There's a lot going on, but yeah. Got anything to add before we do special features?
No.
This is going to be a long one, apparently. Hour 11. We got the special
Damn.
features.
Okay, no. Yeah, go ahead. Take it away because I'm all out of notes.
So this one was a lot the same as far as how a lot of things were shot. Now, if you didn't listen to the previous episode, and viewing wise, sorry that one wasn't taped. It's just audio, so you can go back and listen to it if you'd like. Oh, well, that was not very nice. But a lot of how they shot stuff was a lot of miniature models, a lot of the ship stuff. I believe what it was the actual Death Star is about 4 feet in diameter, that kind of thing. Just
Would be cool as fuck to have.
yeah. All the blaster shots are him, Ben Burt, hitting radio wire or support wires that were holding up a radio tower. That was mic'd up. That was laser shots. That's all I can remember off the top of my head from that last one. But a lot of the same stuff, small model ships on. Like, I'm not going to bore you with a lot of the minute details once more. But a lot of the same styles, right? What we do have is some cool stuff on how they shot things in the Hoth system. Right, so the Tauntauns, like anytime someone's riding a Tauntaun, and they have the Tauntaun like in motion galloping, it's always a little, almost like action figure Tauntaun, and like little action figure sitting on top of the Tauntaun.
Oh, like the little still frame.
And they literally had to like move the 24 frames a second
Good
deal.
Lord.
And so what they had was painting of like a snowy, hazy background. And then, a table had a bunch of baking soda and something called micro balloons, which I read the definition of, and I'm still kind of confused on that. So you can do your own research at home on that one. I'm not going to dive into it too
It's
much.
just a small balloon. No.
Something, yeah, just small little. And then, so the tables had these little trap doors in them that were covered in the snow, and so dudes popped up, moved the shit for the frame, popped down, they got the thing, popped up, moved it again.
That sounds like I see stuff like that. Even nowadays.
I mean, that's
it's
great.
just
Like Robot Chicken shot that way, where they fucking move the dudes all the fucking times. Like Jesus Christ!
It just takes. I feel like it just takes so long.
Yeah,
Like it's so time consuming. Well, I guess Robot Chicken they just
I
kind
almost
of
just rather shoot sketches.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather just do it in person at that point. But it is funny when it's action figures and you can just
tell.
well, and you can just like kill something. Like you can literally
Yeah.
just
Oh
make
wow.
the thing explode.
Why do you say it like that? That sounds real.
Well, because you can't just like
Psychopath.
kill a person in a sketch. You know what I mean? Like without like full effect, unless you have like a great special features team, and you can just like shoot people. Like there's scenes in Robot Chicken, like non-Star Wars, right, where there's like a werewolf sketch, and the werewolf's like, "All right,
Like, you don't have any silver bullets, and the dude's like, the dude just like shoots him like over and over and over again. The dude's like mush at a certain point. He's like, oh, fuck. I don't remember how that one ends. Anyway, so that was crazy, and all the staff were very irritated because of all the baking soda. It was not fun to work around.
Oh, I can imagine. Shit's like sand.
And then, so yeah, frame by frame. The AT-ATs. The
big walkers.
yeah. Frame by frame. Probably just figures. Fuck me, man. Alright, there we go. So, the one that collapses, they had to make a bigger model. Because the other ones were... I don't know, when they described it in the thing, they never gave like a size when they were talking about the smaller AT-ATs. But dude went like this, and I'm thinking it was probably like maybe 12-inch models they were using for the AT-ATs. But the one that collapses, they said was about 4 feet tall.
Good lord.
And so they made clutches in the legs so that when they wanted to remote control it, to collapse at the end. But for whatever reason, they couldn't get them all to work in the right times, and so they basically had to like wire it up and pull it down. So they
The one that fell over on its side.
yeah, so they kind of had to do a similar operation to what the rebels had to do,
That's fine.
and like pull it down when it was time to pull it down. Yeah, and the size of the little tauntauns and it is funny when you watch the movie because you can tell in certain frames like, oh, there's a little action figure on a tauntaun, but they do it so quickly and like change frame that you
Never
barely
really
notice it, and especially way back when.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't fucking care.
Yeah. They never went into I'm sure it was just some masked head they made, but they never went into when the actors are sitting on the tauntauns and like the tauntaun's heads like looking around or whatever. They never went into that, but I'm sure it's pretty simple explanation that I'm probably just like, well, why didn't you show me?
Like a Furby system.
Yeah.
God, those things are terrifying.
But those little tauntauns were 7.5 inches tall by 6 inches long by 3.5 inches wide. So literally just these little
decent sized
action
little
figures.
statue thing.
Yeah.
Real quick, the AT-ATs.
Uh-huh.
You remember that level 1 game store
Yes.
over there? That used to be over here.
Yeah, I used to walk home from school, and I had to pick up my brother from school, and so I'd go in that store, and I just look at the same games every day because like shit don't change too much day to day.
Day to day, yeah.
And so I'm just looking at all the movies and the games all over and over again every day, waiting to go pick up my brother. But yeah.
So you remember they moved up there to Tuttle?
Tuttle, yeah.
They have a AT-AT walker in there, and it's like probably like this big, but it's got a Nintendo GameCube built into it.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, isn't that fucking cool?
Yeah.
Like I was like, huh. I just saw it in there a couple because they always had that big ass like Master Chief like statue thing, and they had that AT-AT, and I thought that was cool as fuck.
That is. We talked about Wampa deleted scenes. Hoth. All the, real scenes with the people. That was in Norway. They shot those Hoth scenes in Norway. As far as Yoda, it took 3 people to operate Yoda. He was a puppet.
Yeah.
The whole Dagobah scenes, those weren't like in a certain like swampy location. It's all built on a soundstage, or just like a regular set. They had to build a whole set for it.
Huh.
And they'd fog the place up real good, and they had to build the set 5 feet off the ground so that they could get under, because the Yoda puppet was on a stick, and so they had to move the Yoda around.
Yeah, that.
And so somebody was like operating the face and somebody was operating the arms.
God.
So there was the 3 people in there, and one dude was the voice. And then because of the divide, they're under the stage and Luke's above. Luke had to just rehearse. Mark Hamill had to rehearse a lot because they didn't hear each other, and so Mark Hamill just had to kind of know the timing of how the quotes were going.
That's interesting.
And just say all his lines without, the response.
Right.
Um,
That's insane. 3 people to operate Yoda.
yeah, and then they had to predetermine all the places he was going to sit and, like, build notches in for the Yoda to just, like, sit down.
I mean, you can tell he's operated like he's a puppet.
Yeah.
Because of the way he walks. Like, it's just really fucking funny watching him. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
Well, when he eats,
Yeah.
it takes a little bite,
It's
and,
like
you just watch, and it's
you
just
miss.
yeah.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
um,
That set had to look mad impressive, though. Like, in person.
I
Being able to see it. Like, I would love to see what it looks like.
Yeah. The space slug the Falcon lands in is just a little, like, hand puppet. And they made a tiny Millennium Falcon for that scene. And that set, when they land on that asteroid, is literally like a table.
That's awesome.
And it's rock, and there's
It's
the puppet underneath.
It's such a
and the
simple
little thing.
film. Like,
Yeah.
like everything seemed like I'm not saying simple as in like easy, but like it just seems like way more enhanced or
Like to think about, like, because no one, I don't know that no one's done it, but
doing stuff like that.
yeah, just the
77 when the
creativity
first one came
taken
out?
to make all that stuff at the time is crazy.
Yeah, in '77, I mean, maybe Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't even know
I don't
anything
even know
about
if
Star Trek.
was
So,
out there.
what is funny is, so we're covering Bond right now, and we're about to do Spy Who Loved Me, so I watched Spy Who Loved Me the other day. And at the end of the movie, it says, Bond will be back in For Your Eyes Only. That was supposed to be the next movie. Because Spy Who Loved Me, I think, is 75. I don't know. I'd have to look. But basically, it was around that time where Star Wars gets popular. And so when they did... So Moonraker came out in 79 because of the success of Star Wars.
Yeah,
the whole space thing. And so they wanted to piggyback on people being into space stuff, So that's cool. But, excuse me. Alright, Star Destroyer models were 8 feet long.
I want one so bad.
They legit made 8-foot models for this, and all the lights inside, I'm still not entirely sure what fiber optics are. I can read something and just not
Right.
fully understand, but it was fiber optics that made all the lights inside
They were nice.
the Star Destroyers, and they had to have like fans cooling it down, or else it was going to melt all the plastic and stuff inside. And then Vader's Star Destroyer was to be different, and so it was kind of a last minute-ish thing, right? Well, kind of.
In this one, episode 5,
Yeah.
talking about the Super Star Destroyer,
Yeah, Vader's
the big boy.
one that he's in, yeah. It's like the blue lights and shit.
Yeah. The
Um,
engines were like red, the glow,
yeah, he had like blue lights in it.
and then on the back those were like a red orange color because the Star Destroyers have a blue.
Yeah. So, yeah, his
on
had...
the engine coming out the engine, the light. Coming
Right,
out.
right. Yeah, and like as far as lights go on his shit was like, his lights were like painted on, I believe. Now, I didn't write down that specific detail,
It was darker.
and so now I'm not remembering. But if you look, they're not like lit up, and
Yeah.
a lot of them are like closer together, and so you kind of see that, it's maybe doesn't have the fiber optics in there for the lights and all that shit. So
Was that one bigger than the other models? Because you said the other ones were 4 feet,
8.
8 feet. They were
Yeah.
8 feet long.
I think it was about the same size. I didn't write it down, so it must not have been significant. So it was probably around the same size if I had to guess.
Because his did look kind of cool though. It looked
Yeah.
It looked evil.
Yeah, it was the
Put it that
different.
way.
If it was a different shape, it was kind of like an arrow
Yeah.
kind of deal.
Like an arrowhead, yeah.
And then it didn't have the big top parts
That stuck up
to the
like
destroyer.
That. Right.
It was just flat.
It was
And
long. Yeah, it looked
yeah.
longer, sleeker,
Yeah.
darker, and then the engines were like a Sith red color.
And because it was like, you know, a change in plan, the crew worked on it for 7 weeks, 7 days a week.
Holy shit.
And they had they had Pan on the Blue Lights. They all took a week off in Mexico when they finished the story.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what it said. And then the Cloud City was again like kind of like Hoth, where it was a lot of painted backgrounds and miniature models, which is a lot like we just covered Fifth Element, which
Was
I think actually comes out after this podcast, coincidentally. But in Fifth Element, they made a miniature New York City.
no.
So it's kind of cool to look at these movies and just everything's these miniature models, and it's really cool.
The special effects definitely in the late 70s. I would say that because of Star Wars, going into like the mid 80s, late 80s, for these kind of movies were amazing. Like
Yeah.
it took so much more work, like actual work.
Yeah, you don't just hop on the computer and
Yeah, you're not able to just like get a fucking, like, have you ever seen how like shit's made on like CGI and like computers and stuff now? Like it's all digital. Like they have like pens. It's like a pen
yeah.
and then it's like a notepad, but it's like hooked up to like a fucking computer, and they're just like drawing, and they can rotate it and shade and just and like layer and stuff. And I'm just like,
Oh, one other thing I forgot is well, I didn't really completely understand it when watching it, and then I looked up film matting, and I really didn't understand that either. So I didn't write it down, but now that we're talking about it, I kind of want to say it. But so I guess film matting, from what I understand, is you film this, right, and then you film something else, but it's under the same backdrop, or maybe the backdrop's out and you want to insert it into certain parts of the film. And so I think what it is kind of like, pressing the film together so that this shows up and this other shot shows up. So if I wanted to CGI little ships flying around you and we're recording on film, I'd, have you on film right here, just looking at you, and then in a different shot.
oh yeah, it's another layer.
Yeah, so I from my understanding, watching it and listening to the guys explain it, that's what film matting is. And that's how they did the ships flying around the AT-ATs on Hoth, is they recorded the ships flying around and they put that on the footage of the AT-ATs walking.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I got. And that, if there's a film expert out there that's way more knowledgeable, or maybe he's just done research and isn't a film expert and is just like, hey, you're a fucking idiot. I'm like, I know.
Jason.
Yeah.
Jason's so smart.
That'll work. Yeah, Jason, tell us.
But he's not smart
Possible.
enough to beat me in Super Smash. Sorry, I have to shoot my
That's
shot.
something I'm not
'cause
gonna...
He's gonna see
Get in
that,
the
and
middle
he's
of.
gonna be like, "Oh, you can go fuck yourself."
He's just gonna edit you out of this
Yeah, he's gonna edit me.
podcast.
He's gonna edit me out of the whole thing.
Every time, he's gonna pick the stupidest shot of you. Like maybe like you had your finger like close to your nose and maybe it looks like it was in your nose, and he just like has that every time it turns to you.
Yeah.
Alright, so what'd you rate?
Out of 10,
Dude.
this one gets a. I'll say an 8-9.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it's definitely the best to me, and I think to you as well, out of the original trilogy.
Well, for me, I love it best out of everything.
Okay, yeah, so out of the original trilogy.
So obviously out of the original trilogy, and
Yes, and then for
the
you
rest of it.
overall, the best. For me, it's like it'd probably be third on my list as far as Star Wars go. It'd be like
So
episode 3, and then it'd probably be 1
Yeah.
and 5, because I don't dislike 2, but I felt like 2 was really long, and I felt like it was more of like a
Long, it's
romance,
a really long
drama
time
story.
to get to the fucking point.
And then the point,
And the
wasn't-
fight scene's awesome.
It wasn't just didn't last very long. It was
Right,
like- it was
the
quick.
arena scene's awesome, but it is such a short part of the movie that it really leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah. And then 3 was just kind of like, it started out kind of like episode 5, where it was just like out of the frying pan
Right in
into
it.
the shit. Like,
Yeah.
And I loved it. And then obviously it had like the best lightsaber battles out of all the Star Wars movies.
Yeah. One's still my favorite of that
Okay.
first trilogy.
Yeah.
But and I don't know how a lot of people feel about it, but I know for me it's just the nostalgia of, like, literally first Star Wars movie I ever watched, and it was just cool as shit to me.
That was the first one you ever watched, episode 1?
Yeah. I mean, I'm 4 when that comes out. And I mean, you're only a year older than me, so you're 5.
Yeah, I mean,
the fact that you could retain anything before 1 is interesting to me.
It's weird because I retain a lot between the age of like 5 to like 13, but then I forget a lot from. No, I remember a lot, but it's like the shit from after I was like started having like surgery on my hip. So once I was like 16, everything kind of gets a little bit foggy. But yeah, no, I was
all that Vicodin.
all that Vicodin and that Dilaudid. Don't get me started on that shit. But I remember, watching episode 1 in theaters.
Yeah.
My dad took us to the AMC Lenox because he did the same thing for episode 2.
I do remember seeing 2 in the theater.
And that one
very
was
vaguely.
I fell asleep. My dad said he took us twice, and
Yeah.
we fell asleep because it was so long and just like drawn out.
Yeah.
But the reason that I watched 4, 5, and 6 probably like 6,000 times before episode 1 came out is because my parents had the original set on Laserdisc. And it was in like a super cool looking case, like a big box sleeve, kind of about as thick as like a pizza box, but it slid out from the side like you would slide like a vinyl out of something.
Yeah.
And there was 3 paper sleeves, and all the Laserdiscs were 2-sided. So like episode 1 would be on, or episode 4 would be on one side, and the next side might be like 5 part 1, 5 part 2, and then Return of the Jedi on the other one. But yeah, I watched those like a fuck ton. So like I was well versed in me Star Wars.
It's possible that I watched the others prior, but I don't have any recollection. First recollection of anything Star Wars
Episode
to me
1.
is episode 1. So
Which is a very solid movie because Darth Maul was like Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul were iconic as fuck.
Mhm.
Like they made that movie. Anakin's pod racing scene wasn't shit compared to the fight with Darth Maul.
but it was cool.
It was cool. It was cool. He was like, "Oh, no other human can do it," and I was like, "Well, all these aliens can do it. Does that mean they're force sensitive too, or are you just talking out your ass?"
Pretty much.
You know.
Yeah.
But, anyways, yeah, episode 5.
Yeah. I feel like I said a number that it was probably going to get in the last podcast,
Mm.
but I don't remember what that was. I'm going to go on my feeling right now that after I poked a bunch of holes in it, I feel like watching a movie when you're like, okay, I'm going to talk about it, so what am I going to talk about? And then you look at it, and my main thing is to just like, cunt it up. You know? So, I'm going to go 8.5 because I really love it. And it is my favorite of the series. But I don't think I can quite get to an A just because of some of the BS, but it's still really good. And I still really like it. You know, I'm going to give it an 8.
That's why I gave it an 8.9 because I felt like it was really good to watch. I think that there is a little bit of overacting.
Yes.
In the movie, but at the same time, I think not a whole lot of acting in the 70s was probably that great.
Yeah. And I'm not giving it, like, here's one thing to understand when we rate movies. It's strictly on my enjoyment of said thing. It's not like, ooh, like, I'm a movie critic that hides behind a laptop and I'm like, I think, like
caps lock.
That's how I feel about the dudes that like are cunty about movies. Like I'll poke holes in shit, but then I'm like, you know what? I enjoyed it this much.
You know?
Star Wars would definitely be.
And just because I criticize it a lot doesn't mean I don't like it.
I mean, I
You know?
criticize my fucking car a lot. And
I
love it to
criticize
death.
the fuck out of like almost every movie we watch, and like typically we don't cover them unless we like them. Of course, Dakota just like hates like
Everything.
It seems like, so
Yeah,
Dakota's just like, I hate all this shit.
Yeah.
Goes up to Dakota, I think we just like.
I'm surprised
I
like
feel
that
like
he
we
even
just
watches
watch-
movies.
I feel like we just like watch the Boondocks
Yeah, we might as well.
and like porn. If Dakota had the choices,
I'm actually surprised that he like even watches movies because it's like
He barely does.
It just doesn't seem like
He
him.
barely
like,
does, if you recall, because like most days he'll show up like.
Yeah, I didn't.
I kind of it's so long. He's
But
always
it was
like,
wild.
He's always like
planes,
it's so
trains, and
long. I'm like, you
automobiles.
don't have to watch it all in one shot. You can come home, watch a half hour. Like we got a week. You can go home, watch a half hour one night before bed. Come back. It's just a time management thing. But
It is, but
you got the same problems with time management. So.
he does the like he doesn't watch a lot of movies, but like when he recommends them, it kind of blows my mind because I'm like, you actually watch this? Like
Right.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Like I was like, you actually fucking watched that movie? Like
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It's surprising when he's like, "Oh yeah, I watched that. I fucking love that," and you're like, "Oh,
yeah, like the
You?
face I make, I'm just
you watched the movie."
the fuck.
It's just funny. Yeah. Not to not shitting on him. Just like
Nope, I'm over here shitting on him. No, I was kidding.
he brings an interesting perspective in the way that pretty much whatever we're watching, he's like, "Fuck that, I don't like it." And it's like, all right. No, he never like straight comes out and says, "Fuck that, I don't like it," but like.
It's the
It's the
pauses,
vibe.
and the
And the fact that he's over here like practically falling asleep most of the time, where he's like he just kind of sits back and like
you look
lets us
look
talk.
over and he's just like,
Oh, he's always on the phone, and then I'm like, like, hey man, we're doing something.
oh, I love it. This shit's funny.
Yeah. So that's my rating. I'm gonna go with 8.8.
8-9.
You went with 8.9.
Definitely gonna be past. My son is going to watch them the order that I watched them. So 4, 5, 6, and then 1 through 9.
Oh, dude, you have a chance though
to what,
to
get 'em
really
on all
like
of it?
give them like the right order.
the chronological
Dude, think
order?
about it. You wait till he gets old enough, right, to like get it.
Mhm.
So like maybe when he's in middle school, and like you can show him this or that. For
No,
fun.
I just thought about something, but you finish what you're gonna say.
I'm just saying, like you have an opportunity here, right?
Right.
So you can show him this or that for fun. Maybe the Clone Wars for fun, right? But then you could show him all this Star Wars shit in the exact order it's supposed to be. The same opportunity with Marvel
That is
to
true.
go all the correct order with everything. But like you could start him with episode 1, go episode 2. You can show him the Clone Wars series, move into episode 3. You can show him Solo. You can show him Rogue One. You can show him 4, 5, 6. Boba Fett, Mando,
And then
7, 8, 9.
yeah.
Like that. Because, like, think about it. Because the whole thing that ruins 1, 2, and 3 for me is the fact that you know what's going on here. And so you just know, like, they're going to lose. No matter what happens, evil's losing. And despite the happy music at the end of 3 when they're like, this is how this happened. This is where we'll put Luke. This is where we'll put Leia. And maybe you can talk to Qui-Gon. And, like, all this shit. And it's like, all right, but, like, you lost.
Right.
You know?
The Jedi Order took a big L.
So it's, I don't know, it's interesting, but, alright, enough. That's enough. We're hour 39.
Man.
Thank you for listening or viewing this podcast.
Jason for editing.
Yep.
We are at Content Crisis 1 on Twitter and Content Crisis Hotline at yahoo.com if you would like to tell us how stupid we are. Thanks for listening and goodbye.